Oh, hey guys, don't mind me, but I am watching the greatest movie of all time. And it's not Shawshank Redemption. Just look. Really, there's nothing that can ruin a movie like this. Woo!
Stop the daydreaming, Pancata. That floor ain't gonna mop itself, you know.
Oh, sorry, Mr.
Well, I guess this is my life now.
Drifted off for a second.
Hello and welcome to thezer0show, the show where we talk about anything. And I'm sure you're already aware of the success of animation companies such as Pixar and DreamWorks. So many animated movies that touch the hearts of millions around the world, made by people who put a lot of effort and heart into them. Okay, maybe not all of them, but both Pixar and DreamWorks have pumped out a healthy portion of good movies to balance out all the bad stuff that they'd made. And you know what they all say, if you become successful at one point, there will always be an animation company from Brazil that will try to achieve that level of success with a budget of a paper plate and a quarter. I'm not sure why they would say that, but here's Brinquedo. Brinquedo is an infamous Brazilian animation company that was founded in 1995. They are notorious for making animated ripoffs that try to capture the success of other animation studios, but cheaper and far less good. So that is why we are going to be watching and reviewing some of their most notorious movies that they've ever made. Starting with Cars is a Pixar movie that was released in 2006. The movie follows a race car named Lightning McQueen, who gets stuck in Radiator Springs, where he learns not to be so full of himself and appreciate the little things. I think overall, Cars is an okay movie with very bizarre world building. But anyways, what if you wanted Cars, but instead of Real Gone or Life is a Highway, there was elevator music that played on a loop? Oddly enough, there is a movie that is exactly like that, introducing A Car's Life, Sparky's Big Adventure. A Car's Life is such an awful movie. The movie follows the wacky hijinks of a car named Sparky Car. Yeah, that's his real name. And yeah, that's basically all the plot. You know, for such a simple story, hopefully the animation, the writing, and the pacing will hopefully make up for it. Nope. Let's talk about the animation and the world building first, because that's the easiest to tear apart. Yes, this is bad. This is really, really bad. The character design is uncanny, the backgrounds are repetitive and drab. Everything is bad. It's just awful. And this movie probably has a more confusing world than the actual Cars movie. Some of the characters have robotic arms for no reason. There's one character in this movie named Gracie, who I think is supposed to be a baby, but she's the same size as the other cars.
Good morning, Gracie.
Good morning, Sparky. You're so funny.
And even though the characters have eyes, they can still be blinded by stuff that gets on the windshield. And speaking of which, let's talk about those characters, because oh boy. The characters fall into 4 categories: annoying, stupid, both, or actually tolerable. And oddly enough, the most tolerable character in this movie is Julie, a character that doesn't even do much in the first place. Oh, and there's also Norbert, who is actually pretty okay, I'll give him that.
It was the gas leeches. I didn't ask.
But yeah, the other characters are absolutely intolerable, especially Sparky and Speedy. Sparky is a little shit, but Speedy is just way worse. She actively pisses me off every time she opens her mouth or does something, and I am not joking when I say she is possibly the worst character in all of fiction.
You are both so judgmental. Just because a car is a little different doesn't...
Which makes the scene where she gets demolished more satisfying. Anyways, I want to talk about the pacing of this movie. Even though it's 40 minutes long, they somehow make it drag even more. Jumping back to that scene where that one car gets blinded by Speedy. Fucking Speedy. The car literally spins out of control for a whole minute. I feel like if you shorten some of these scenes down, this whole movie would be like 10 minutes long. So yeah, A Car's Life is awful. Awful characters, awful animation, awful writing, just overall awful. If someone wants to learn the definition of awful, just show them this movie. 1 year after the release of Cars comes another Pixar movie, Ratatouille. Many, including me, would agree that this is a masterpiece of a film. Definitely one of Pixar's greatest. Just a well-crafted, well-told, entertaining movie with a message that is so powerful. Anyone can cook. Anyone can follow their dreams, no matter what people think or where you come from. Especially if you're just a little rat. Though, I also think that a rat can do other things, like make a more coherent movie than Ratatouille. Ratatouille is a ripoff of Ratatouille, not a good one. Again, releasing to DVD just a few months after Ratatouille's release. But instead of a rat controlling a ginger dweeb, we got this Tom and Jerry plot with a rat named Marcel Toyne trying to keep his restaurant afloat by stealing ingredients from other restaurants that are run by humans. The other characters include the scary rat lady and Greg, who always says precisely.
Precisely, 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 precisely.
As for the other characters, they aren't annoying as the characters in A Car's Life, but they are very strange. But anyways, let's talk animation. I kind of admire that Video Brinquedo went out of their way to create this rat world out of actual tiny things, like the chairs being made of matchboxes, for example. But the animation on the characters are stiff and unnatural, but at least the voice actors are actually kind of trying, but it's really nothing special. Ratatouille was not as much of a slog to get through as A Car's Life, but it's Ratatouille, man. What more do you want me to say? Alright, let's take a break from talking about Pixar and their ripoffs to DreamWorks and their ripoffs. Kung Fu Panda was a movie that was released in 2008, and upon its release, I don't think it's a surprise when I say this movie was, well, a surprise. Based on the trailers, this looked like it was going to be a tacky and unfunny kids movie. I mean, you got Jack Black voicing a fat panda.
Who are you?
But overall, the Kung Fu Panda trilogy is one of DreamWorks' best. They tell great stories, tell good themes, are really funny, and have some insane action. But here's one interesting question. What if Kung Fu Panda was the movie that we all thought it was going to be? No, this was supposed to be the transition to me talking about the Little Panda Fighter. The Little Panda Fighter, again, was released just a few months after Kung Fu Panda. And despite the movie having the Little Panda and Fighter in it, you'd think that the panda was a fighter. But no, the panda named Pancata is instead a dancer. But the shocking thing about this movie, other than the fact that it exists in the first place, is the fact that the other characters mistake this pudgy panda to be this jacked polar bear wearing black clothes that spontaneously shrunk when he entered the ring. There's not really much to say about this movie. It's again really bad, but it's also the best movie I've talked about, which is kind of sad. The animation this time around looks straight up creepy on top of being lifeless. The characters are not terrible, but they're also kind of dumb for believing this panda can box. As for positives, just like Ratatouille, at least the voice actors are actually trying, but fortunately it wasn't enough. And also, I actually kind of liked Mr. Polaris.
I mean, isn't that what everyone's talking about?
I mean, he unintentionally tricked people to think that he was the panda so they could bet on Pancata when he actually fights later in the movie, knowing Pancata can actually fight so he could take all the money for himself. Mind-blowing twist, am I right? But this movie is atrocious.
It's blank.
But it's cinema compared to the last movie that we're going to be talking about.
No merci, I'm French, we drink wine.
Alright, I saved the best for last. Up is a Pixar movie that was released in 2009. The movie follows an old man named Carl Fredricksen, who defies all laws of physics when he flies his house to Paradise Falls using thousands of balloons. And a little boy named Russell, a bird named Kevin, and a dog named Doug tag along. You know, I think Up is a perfectly good movie. The movie has a fair share of charming and very emotional moments, but what if you take Up and strip everything in it that makes it so amazing, and you just make it racist? Oddly enough, there are people who unfortunately made this possible. What's Up, Balloon to the Rescue might be the worst movie Vinny Brinquedo has ever made. Worse than A Car's Life, worse than Ratatouille, worse than everything that we just talked about in this video. Well, this is sort of a sequel to Little and Big Monsters, a ripoff of Monsters vs. Aliens, where a group of scientists travel around the world to capture monsters with a floating house. But anyways, there is a French man named Jean-Pierre. His personality is that he's French.
Would you like some tea? No merci, I'm French, we drink wine.
Don't mind him, Mr. French.
Oh, he's also the villain who wants to take over the world with a magical rock that the main characters have. If you couldn't tell from this scene right here.
When we arrive there, you'll all be in for a little surprise. I can't wait to hypnotize as many people as possible.
Keep in mind, he says this out loud, even while the other characters are around him. They literally had every chance to stop him, but I guess they decided not to. And apparently it took like the 20th time for him to mention wanting to take over the world, for them to be like, hey, you should stop that. But they don't actually stop him until it's too late. So yeah, for being world famous scientists, these people are kind of stupid. I mean, they revealed all the secrets to making this magical rock hypnotize everyone.
Nobody knows that you have to activate it with a secret password. Lavender.
They didn't do anything to stop Jean-Pierre from taking over the world until they're already mind controlled, except for the stupid kid.
Kudo! Blow kisses!
And oh yeah, they're racist. Should probably get the massive elephant in the room out of the way. This movie is racist.
No merci, I'm French, we drink wine!
That French croissant is probably at a luxury hotel taking a bath after this little Amazon adventure, and goodness knows he needs one.
Arigato.
No problem, but arigato is Japanese. I'm Chinese. My name is Ching Ling.
I don't want that Chinese guy in there with my monsters. He didn't even say anything when I showed him the cookie.
Did you try showing him a fortune cookie? That could work.
Hey, Beijing! Give me a hand, will ya? Perfect, China! I promise to give you some moo goo gai pan when we get back to the house! You mean he could be that smart? Huh, I thought he was just gonna make us some dinner!
Why do they bully this Chinese guy in particular? They don't even let him in the actual house. Instead, they put him in the bubble with the rest of the monsters. I hate everything about What's Up Balloon to the Rescue. It's frustrating to get through. The animation is lifeless. The main characters are all idiots. I swear, Ellie did not need to die for this, Video Brinquedo. So in conclusion, is Video Brinquedo the worst animation company to ever exist? Probably. Basically, all their filmography is ripping off other companies, hoping that people will still buy it. But let's be honest, even Helen Keller won't fall for this. Even calling these movies seems like an insult. These are 40 to 50-minute shitposts. My advice to any of you guys, don't watch any of Video Brinquedo's movies. Even if it's just for a joke, or you want to review it, just don't. It's not worth any of your time. So yeah, I'm gonna end this video right here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you later.